47-10 was the score the New Orleans Saints had on the Carolina Panthers. The New Orleans Saints should be locked up for what they did to the Panthers today. This was a travesty. This was very upsetting to see if you're a Carolina Panthers fan. Bryce Young is the man I want to start off with. 13 of 30 on the day for 161 passing yards. 0 passing touchdowns. He did run for 1. 2 interceptions and got sacked 4 times. Bryce Young right now, as it stands, when you compare him to Anthony Richardson and CJ, quarterbacks the Carolina Panthers could have went with, he's the worst out of all of them. Now, Will Levis just had a bad game against the Chicago Bears, but he showed more good last season than Bryce Young. Bryce Young is an undersized quarterback that does not have crazy mobility, and he does not have the accuracy that was shown at Alabama. He could not put water into a cup if you told him to go fill it up underneath the faucet today. That is how bad he was. I don't want to hear about the pressure this, the pressure that. This is a brand new head coach. This is a brand new team. Now, this is just one game. That's what I'm going to say. It's just one game. Things can change. I saw the Miami Dolphins put up 70 points on the Denver Broncos last season. They turned their season around. The Panthers can still do that. But it's a lot of glaring things that I saw today. When I go back at film and look at that on the All-22, it may be even worse. Bryce Young looked like a certified bust today. That's simple. Nice human being, great guy. As a player so far with the Carolina Panthers, he has been terrible. And I understand it's not all on Bryce Young. And I don't want people to come in my comment section saying you're just putting all the blame on Bryce. I'm not. But majority of it is. When you have open wide receivers and guys were getting open today and you overthrow them by 15 to 20 yards, most backup quarterbacks in the NFL won't have that happen to them. This is upsetting because the Carolina Panthers traded DJ Moore and numerous picks to go get this kid. He has to perform better. He is missing easy passes. And I said this over the offseason when I went back and saw every single game on the All-22. I said that, hey, he's missing a lot of passes that first-round picks shouldn't miss, let alone first overall picks. But I'm a Bryce Young hater. I see why a lot of politicians get elected, because when you tell people the truth and when you show things on film, they want to turn a blind eye to it when it's their favorite player, but they'll call somebody else out quickly. It is very upsetting because the Carolina Panthers fan base has been put through this year in and year out. This was not how they were supposed to start this season with a brand new head coach in Dave Canales, brand new offensive line. Dave Tepper went out there and spent a lot of money on 2 top-tier guards in the NFL to go give Bryce Young more protection. And in the first half, it wasn't great, but it was better than what it was last season. You went out there in the first round, you drafted Xavier Legette in the back of the second round. He didn't do much today. You went out there, you traded for Deontay Johnson. He did not do much today. You have Adam Thielen still. So you hope that, hey, it will be some type of just good things on the field week 1. I wasn't expecting for them to win this game because the Saints are a veteran team and on paper they're better. Overall, just in general, they're just a better football team. And this is Dave Canales' first time as a head coach in the NFL. It's going to be a learning curve. But I saw guys get open and he just couldn't hit them. You only had 13 completions on the day. And in the second half, that is when the Saints started to tee off on him completely over and over and over again. In the past, the Carolina Panthers defense would step up. They sacrificed defensive pieces to bring in some offensive pieces to help this kid. You no longer have Brian Burns, who was a top sack monster with the Carolina Panthers. He is now with the New York Giants. Not a better situation because they're not going to win many football games, but he was a very good football player here. They traded Christian McCaffrey away to the San Francisco 49ers. You traded DJ Moore away. Those were 3 first-round picks. All of those guys were contributing in a big way to the Panthers, and now you have nothing to show for it. They're not going to make the NFL playoffs this year. I've been saying this all offseason long, and it's not me overreacting. When a quarterback plays as bad as Bryce Young played today, it's no such thing as an overreaction. He looked like a 7th-round pick today. And half of the time when the Saints weren't sending blitzes his way, he just couldn't read NFL coverages. When he threw his first interception in this game, it was the first pass that went for an interception right across the middle of the field. He did the same thing last year to Jesse Bates, not once, but twice in the Falcons game. You're not seeing development. We have to stop blaming coaches. We have to stop blaming other things that are just out of some players' hands. We need to look at the actual player. I think that he can turn things around, but they made a crucial mistake with selecting this kid over CJ and selecting this kid over Anthony Richardson. I don't think that he'll ever be as good as CJ. And you can say that CJ went into a great situation with the Houston Texans. I hate that narrative because the Houston Texans were historically bad and back-to-back years right after they traded Deshaun Watson away. He went over there and he played a part in transforming that team because of how great he is. It is very discouraging if you are a Carolina Panthers fan and you see a guy like CJ go out there and ball out. When you see a guy like Anthony Richardson go out there and have a good game. When you see Will Levis have good moments from last season. Bryce Young so far has been the worst out of that class, out of those guys. And it's no excuse for this. Yes, terrible play calling in his rookie year. And you can say, yes, the Carolina Panthers went out there. They ruined him. He did not have those many weapons as a rookie. His number one wide receiver was Adam Thielen, one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. I understand it. I get it. I hear you. I'm not going to go out there and ignore you. I'm not going to say that he's the worst first overall pick of all time. I'm not going to say any of that in this video. But when you make the moves that they just made this offseason with this offensive line, you want to see better movement moving forward. And you have a very good defensive coordinator. This is a part of the video when I get into the defense. What the hell happened? Rashid Shaheed goes out there. He burns past everyone. Remember, you have a lot of guys like Frankie Louvu. No more Brian Burns. Dante Jackson. You traded him to the Steelers to go get Deontay Johnson. Those are veteran players that were with the squad and they knew the system. Now, Frankie Louvu, he wanted to leave. The Panthers wanted to keep him. That is true. And you brought in Josie Jewell, who I think would be a very good linebacker long term. But when you look at it, Shaq Thompson leads the team in sacks yet again. He was the only guy that was making plays. The only one. They only had one sack on the day. Derek Carr set up shop all day long. You can say what you want to say about Derek Carr, but when you give him time in the pocket, he is going to dot you up. The man had 200 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. He looked like Tom Brady out there today against the Carolina Panthers defense. And that is something that has never happened in the last few years because their defense was their strong suit. This is why I'm afraid, even back to last year when they went against the Atlanta Falcons, their defense did not give up those many big time plays. And this is an in-division matchup. Now, essentially, you're back behind a game in your own division. I will give Dave Canales time to figure this thing out. I'm looking right now at Bryce Young. It's not good. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. It's not looking good. When your first throw is an interception, and then that second interception that he threw when the receiver was wide open, he overthrew him 15 yards. It's not good. And the athleticism is there, but it's not next level. It's not like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen because he's not this big quarterback. Their run game as well was terrible. They didn't have a run game. Dave Canales came out there. He was hard pressed. I want to run the football. I want to run the football. They can't. They couldn't. Want to know why? They came out there and they stacked the box immediately. You can't blame that on an offensive lineman. Until Bryce Young proves that he can throw the football deep down the field, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to run the football with Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard. They stacked the box. And then when they did not stack the box, Dave Canales went through some throwing plays. Bryce Young completely missed them. It just makes zero sense, man. The run defense for the Carolina Panthers today was trash as well. Alvin Kamara averaged 5 yards a carry. Taysom Hill had 7 yards a carry. They were getting gashed. You also had Williams as well. He came in. Jamal Williams came in, got a rushing touchdown. They were gashing the Carolina Panthers defense, something that they haven't had problems with before. You would call me crazy if I say that Chris Olave only had 2 catches in this game for 11 yards and they scored 47 points. Their best wide receiver only had 2 catches. Give credit to Clint Kubiak. He called a great game for the New Orleans Saints. I don't want to take anything away from those guys. They played very well. I don't want to come off as like I'm just hating on the Saints. They played very well today. They did their thing. This is more so an indictment on the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. And you can say I'm a Bryce Young hater. Fine, whatever. I sung his praises in college. I said that, hey, he could be a top quarterback if he could develop correctly. So far, none of those things that happened in college have transferred over just yet. He can turn it around. But right now, Bryce Young does look like a bust. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, and can they turn things around? We'll see what they do next week. But to get blown out like this, 47-10, by Dennis Allen of all coaches, that's tough. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, we want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.